Neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, they will affect different parts of your brain. Some of these regions that may be important for moving your speech organs or selecting words, organizing them. And so now speech and language, they become a window into brain health.
Okay. Welcome to Startup Health TV, where we celebrate the entrepreneurs and innovators who are transforming health. I'm Logan Plaster, here with my guest, Adolfo García from TELL, Chief Science Officer and co-founder. Great to see you, Adolfo.
Great to see you, Logan.
So we are here at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference, AAIC, and you just won a prestigious award, Best Paper. Walk and talk with me.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always good to have recognition for what we're doing. This award was actually given because of this paper that we did, in which we showed the broad inequities in the field of speech and language assessments of neurodegeneration.
Okay.
So basically, we all believe in the transformative power of analyzing speech signals and language patterns to detect, monitor, and assess the response to treatment in the study of neurodegeneration, Alzheimer's, and other forms of dementia. The thing is that the vast majority of the evidence is coming from, as you might presume, English speakers.
Okay.
And here's the catch. English speakers amount to only 17% of the world's population. 17%.
Wow, okay.
And that's counting people who are non-native speakers, such as myself, and most of the world actually speak English.
Yeah.
So that creates a very inequitable scenario because we know nothing or very little about the 7,000 off languages out there, and the vast majority of the evidence is coming from a language that actually represents a minority of the world population.
Okay.
So in this paper, what we did was to expound this source of inequity and argue for a more equitable global approach to the leveraging of speech biomarkers of neurodegeneration.
Okay, that's awesome. Let's pull back a little bit to the macro. Where do we stand today on our understanding of the connection between speech, we say voice biomarkers, which is a way of talking about the connection between speech and the brain. So where are we at in that understanding today?
We are at a critical juncture where we have a very good combination of tradition and let's say a vast trajectory of research and developments and discoveries, and at the same time a vast landscape of opportunities and gaps that are not being properly tackled so far. So we know, we understand very well the different brain regions and networks that are involved in what's happening between you and I right now, right? There are certain brain areas that are fundamental for me to coordinate and manipulate my speech organs the way I'm doing it so that I'm producing the sounds that I want to produce. There are specific brain regions and networks that are fundamental for me to actually choose the words that I'm saying as opposed to others that I could be saying, right? There are other mechanisms that are fundamental for me to sequence words in the way in which I want them to come out, right? And so on and so forth. Here's the marvelous thing, if you will. Neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or different variants of frontotemporal dementia, they will affect different parts of your brain.
Got it.
And they will differentially impinge on the integrity of some of these regions that may be important for moving your speech organs or selecting words or organizing them and so on and so forth. When you understand which brain regions are responsible for A, B, and C, then you can sort of flip the equation and you can ask yourself, okay, so if I analyze that aspect of speech, maybe I have a window into the integrity of those brain regions. So now speech and language, they become, in a very non-metaphorical or quasi-metaphorical way, if you will, a window into brain health.
Okay. How specific are we talking? Because it's one thing to just sort of generally say, hey, there's some pathology going on we've detected. Other people in Alzheimer's are doing brain scans and trying to find out exactly what is where. How specific can voice analysis be?
Okay, so the specificity question is one, and then the sensitivity or robustness question is a separate one. So the specificity one, there are some aspects of speech and some speech disturbances which are shared across different diseases. All right? So for example, think about someone with Alzheimer's. If you ask them to name as many animals as they can in a minute, something that will happen is that they will start leaving long pauses between one animal and the other. Now, if I asked you to do it, you would probably, go sort of, machine gun-like, one after the other. Now, if your semantic memory is affected, it's going to be harder for you to retrieve those names. And that's going to be indexed by pauses and longer pauses between cow, and pig and whatever.
But from that sort of general change, you can derive something specific?
You can derive so this is an example of something that is shared across different diseases.
Got it, okay.
So in Parkinson's, you will also find these, longer pauses, right? But not because it's hard for them to retrieve words from semantic memory. It will be because it's hard for them to move
physically.
Got
it, okay.
Right? So there are some aspects that will be useful for different disorders, but because of different reasons. Now, some other aspects will be differential, right? So going back to the naming animals thing, right? That's something that the way we do it, you can differentiate between persons with Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia, such as behavioral variant frontotemporal dementia. We've shown that if we analyze not the number, the quantity of words, but the properties, the nature of the words that are being produced, which is something that we do through AI algorithms, you can actually find differential markers of Alzheimer's relative to other forms of dementia.
Fascinating. So I have to ask, we have all of these technologies in society now that are listening to us. What does the future look like if Siri or Alexa starts to have some of this AI baked in that can actually detect certain disease states?
Well, the thing is that these markers, at least from what we know so far, they are maximally useful, optimally sensitive.
What does that mean? Maximally useful, optimally sensitive?
You can, the way in which you can optimize their usefulness to detect a disease, right? To say, okay, this person does have Alzheimer's or this person does not have Alzheimer's. You can get that information using strategic tasks. It's not just, gathering casual conversation, right?
Okay, ambient voice.
Ambient voice, right? So, and actually what we do is we have very streamlined and theoretically motivated tasks that we use, which vary in their cognitive and their motoric demands. So there are forms of speech elicitation, right, that I can ask you to engage in that tap into different aspects. So, for example, I can ask you, can you tell me what a typical day of your life is like, right? And that's a more autobiographical thing, right? But then I can show you a video, a 1-minute video, and I can tell you, okay, you've seen this video. Can you tell me the story in your own words? And now this is not about your autobiography. This has to do with...
And it's not actually about voice, the properties of your voice.
Not only.
It's about your ability to process.
To process that, the content, how you're structuring that information, how much of what you saw you can actually retrieve and put into words, right? So
in that way, it's interesting. Voice biomarkers really encapsulates a lot more than what I might think of as the properties of the voice.
Absolutely.
The voice is, the tool of the brain.
Absolutely, and I would say that actually voice biomarkers, if you become very picky about it, it's kind of a misnomer. Because it's not the voice, but it's speech. Right?
That makes sense.
The physical production of oral communication, and then the content, the semantics, the syntax, right? The properties of the discourse that you're producing.
Okay, 2 final questions. One is, where are we at today in the inflection point of voice biomarkers? Are we at a special moment? And then secondarily, what's next for TELL, your company?
A special moment. Speech biomarkers are being incorporated into clinical trials. They are like the newest kid on the block in the field of digital biomarkers. Massive investment is being made by, let's say, some of the largest funding agencies in the world. We ourselves, we have an $8.3 million NIH grant devoted to this, and TELL is the tool of choice for that project. TELL is being used also in a €500,000 project in Switzerland, right? So, there's interest from the community. There's a lot of research coming out. Funding agencies are putting the money into this. So it's a very, very exciting moment, I would say. And we in TELL, we are at a transformative juncture, I would say. We are a young company, but we are making strides here. Like I mentioned, these are the largest grants in the world right now, and we are the ones, providing the data capture and data analytics for these projects. We are growing internationally. We have presence in over 12 countries. Over 30 clinical sites are working with us. We are providing services for some of the key stakeholders in the field, including the Davos Alzheimer's Collaborative. and we are growing in different accelerator programs such as Startup
TELL.
Health.
Alzheimer's Moonshot. Well, Adolfo, thanks for taking the minute with me. It's so exciting, not only what you're doing with voice, but also opening up access in Spanish-speaking countries in a way that wasn't done before. So, and congratulations on the paper.
Thank you very much for your time and the space.
All right, take care.
Thank you.